As October 31st fast approaches, we see around many preparing for a day of celebrating witches, ghosts, ghouls, and goblins. Many see this as just good, scary fun. Seriously? Let's talk about it next on this edition of the Sound Doctrine Ministries Spiritual Common Sense. All right, depending on where you look, you can find positive and negative information. But come on, what could possibly be positive about a witch? Many want to think that there can be good witches as well as bad witches. But the truth is, anyone that casts spells or does anything to subvert their will upon another is doing witchcraft and is wrong. That is why I'll never understand why so many parents, including my own, would allow their children to participate in this yearly ritual or ritual of any kind. Yeah, I know. Many of you will come up with, well, breathing and eating or going to work is a ritual. Wrong. Every action that one makes is not a ritual. A ritual is something that someone clearly decides to do on a continual basis. No one wants to work all of their lives, and breathing is an involuntary action, one which occurs without the conscious choice of an organism. So stop making excuses to sin. If you check in the usual religious realm, you'll find out about All Hallows Eve or All Saints Day. If you do some real research, you'll find out about Samhain, known as the Lord of the Dead. And it's funny, but as with Halloween, depending on where you look, you can find positive and negative information on both of these as well. So, what does that say to us as believers in our Creator and the Messiah? Did you really have to think about it? Seriously? Remember the rule of thumb that I always have said that we as believers could trust and should follow? Well, once again, I'll state it. If the world is doing it, then we should not be doing it. I don't feel like giving you a bunch of information that you may or may not believe. I can tell you there are no shades of gray in the body of believers. Either we are obedient or we're not. And I do not want to get into the details of how many hundreds of thousands of human sacrifices done by the Druids in the name of Samhain during this time of the year at Stonehenge. The bottom line is, believers do not have anything to do with the unfruitful works of darkness, and have no fellowship with the fruitless works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it's a shame to even speak of what is done by them in secret. Ephesians, the 5th chapter, the 11th and the 12th verse. Do not love the world, nor that which is in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Because all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, which is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passes away, and the lust thereof. But one doing the desires of Elohim remains forever. 1 John, the 2nd chapter, the 15th through the 17th verse. Therefore, having girded up your loins of your mind, being sober, set your expectation perfectly upon the favor that is to be brought to you at the revelation of Yahusha the Messiah as obedient children, not conforming yourselves to the former lust of your ignorance. Instead, as one who called you is set apart, so you also should become set apart in all behavior, because it has been written, be ye set apart, for I am set apart. 1 Peter, the first chapter, the 13th through the 16th verse. This is also why we, from the day we heard, have not ceased praying for you and asking that you be filled with the knowledge of his desire in all wisdom and spiritual understanding, to walk worthily of the master, pleasing all, bearing fruit in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of Elohim, being empowered with all power according to the might of his esteem, for all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to the Father who has made us fit to share in the inheritance of the set apart ones in the light, who has delivered us from the authority of darkness and transformed us into the reign of the Son of his love, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, who is the likeness of the invisible Elohim, the firstborn of all creation. Colossians, the first chapter, the 9th through the 15th verse. And do not be conformed to this world, but ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is that good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of Elohim. Romans, the 12th chapter, the 2nd verse. Thus, having these witnesses from John and Peter, who walked with the Mashiach, and the Apostle Shaul, that warned us, any child that is not setting themselves apart and makes excuses to continue to follow this tradition is a disobedient child and will be punished accordingly. Stay prayerful, stay focused, stay in the will and the word of the Father. Peace to your homes. Shalom.